a sister, and today we're reading Saturnastra Rimaru. This is chapter 14. He hesitated a little, and then he got his brother and sister, and after whining like brats a bit, the sire went to have some dinner, and since none were in a cooking mood, they tried the local restaurants. And with the travelers, the restaurant scene was booming, and all of the local bars and inns had plenty of new items to choose from, and the new foods were tried in the restaurant before being served to the nobles in their houses. And on that day, the buyer was testing out to see if caviar was truly edible or not, and due to the lack of experience of the harvester of caviar, one had a 50-50 chance of getting good caviar. Because, if you harvest it wrong, the caviar, goes bad immediately. My dad did not particularly like those tiny eggs, but he ordered a bowl for his brother and and Karina ate some sugar violets, and there was even some candy shaped like precious stones, and in the end, the siblings did not eat dinner, rather they got full of random types of food like mush sticks, salted licorice, alfajores, croquettes, bornas, flan, kulfi, lemon tarts, pavlovas, and the ever-popular tree milks. The siblings were so satisfied that they left a big tip, and the waiter not understanding the concept of a tip, and she took the extra money and hid it in her person, and the manager who was a noble saw her taking the extra money, and he interrogated her, and he assumed that she lied to the foreigners about the cost of the items they had purchased, and Mardu had lingered outside the shop to eavesdrop, and he then returned and he explained everything to the manager. He said, in our land, it is customary to give a little extra money to any server person who has behaved well, and we do this to encourage a repeat of good manners among the staff of each establishment. Well, in this country, we encourage our staff with a very big stick. Your coin is appreciated, especially since you paid us in a legal tender, but it wasn't necessary, said the manager, giving Marduk his money back. So in that country, the only tip that they get, that the waiters get is a tip of a pointy stick. Ow, the encouragement rod. Matu returned the money to the lady, and then he said, it is not for you to decide how I choose to spend my money, and thank you very much. And in the end, Mardu's niceties got the lady fired, and Mardu, feeling sheepish, said, I am a king back in my own country, and if you like, you can work in my restaurant. That offer sounds tempting, said the former waitress, but I have strong roots here. I can't just up and leave. Roots are overrated, commented he. They keep one from pursuing true happiness. But sometimes if you up and leave, you may end up in a far worse situation, said the maiden. She then bowed before adding, and if you leave all the time, you are just going to be running away from your problems. Who said anything about running away, corrected Marduk. In our city, we kill our problems, said Shikad. In mine, we exile them, said the Asura and Rimaru. In my city, we work them like slaves till they decide to take it where the light don't shine, said Melina, laughing. Kali, what's wrong with you, said Lamina. The siblings started arguing about petty nonsense, and since the former waitress saw that they were busy talking, she took this chance to steal other purses. And as with anyone who robbed a curse fell upon her, and when she looked at the coin from a weird angle, and dusk came, and with it a gentle glow hung over the river, and the current slowed down a bit, and there was a relaxing flow of water, and on the other side of the river, Rimaru noticed Mindy and Sativa talking nonsense with Brutus. And the trio were in the middle of fishing without any bait, and from time to time one would throw the rod without any intention of catching anything. And Marduk asked Rimaru, so, how are you hanging in there? I'm fine, I guess, said Rimaru. I'm still a bit peeved about a lot of nothing, but it is nothing that won't stop me from returning to my happy routine. And you don't plan on staying here, asked Shikad. Nah, I have a bad feeling about this place, and I'm not too keen on getting wrapped up in a civil war. And I was never a fan of killing and stuff, or even violence for that matter, said Rimaru. I don't see why not, said the Asura. It is a good way to pass the time. And what do you want to do now? Asked Loki. Nothing much. I just want to say my goodbye to Brutus, and then I'm going back to Aragon, said Rimaru. Time?
19 minutes.
You don't have to go back there if you don't want to, said Ahim. I'm starting to miss my plants and my weird lab of endemic creatures, and I wonder how they're doing, said Rimaru. They are fine. Carbine and Apega are taking good care of them, said Marduk. We shall see, said Rimaru, starting to worry. She had the look of a maiden who realized she had left the iron on before going on a long vacation. Maybe I left the iron on. That has actually happened to us before in a little cliche fashion that Mother thought she left the iron on, and then we were already halfway down the Florida Keys, and then we had to drive back to go check up on that. And a spoiler alert, yeah, we did left the iron on. She started running, and then she swam across the lake, and Marduk smiled as did her the other siblings, and each returned to do whatever they were up to before. And Loki, who was still worried, swam after his little sister, and Rimaru said to Mindy to Sativa, I am ready to head back now. I am staying with Brutus. I have a good feeling that I might meet my quota if I stay here, said Mindy, smiling. I don't think there's going to be much killing here anytime soon, said Brutus, and he added, this country, as well as the city, has been stagnant for decades. The days when men used to put down a body for a cause are long gone. Nobody wants to fight anymore. So you say, but there is a first time for everything, said Mindy, smiling, and she added, trust me, I give or take a few weeks, and this place will be up in smokes. Well, in case that happens, don't forget the key I gave you. Open any random underground spot, and it will lead you to the trolley train. And we are going to have one running around all of the friendly city-states in order to avoid dealing with bandits, explained Rimaru. Good idea. Once the caravans disappear, the highwaymen will starve to death on their own, or they won't have any other option but to get real jobs, said Mindy, smiling. At least it's better than putting up bounties to kill the lot every so often, said Loki. I don't know. As long as inequality exists, there will be bandits, said Mindy. Yes, and there will be a problem elsewhere, said Loki, and the metro would only run to Society, Veragedon, Sibila, and Aragon, and depending on the crime level of the other city, other routes would be added. I guess Sibila and Veragedon, but Society and Aragon are not the safest place in the world, said Rimaru. Nah, semantics, said Loki. And night finally fell, and Rimaru started roaming the temple forest ground, and she did so dressed in white while carrying a lantern. And she could see just fine in the darkness, but she thought that it made her look spooky, dressed in white carrying a lantern in darkness. Time?
16 minutes.
She wore a long white gown, and she walked barefoot, and after stepping badly on a tiny pebble and getting a toenail cut in half, she started wearing shoes. And for Rimaru, the nails usually took longer to heal, and mainly they had to grow back naturally, and after cursing a little and trimming the nail a bit, she started roaming the forest again. And it was then when Amis made his appearance, and he had been trailing after Rimaru waiting for Rimaru to be left alone. And since he was a shy coward, he always preferred the least number of people possible whenever he wanted to talk about his feelings. And he took a couple of breaths, and then he took a step towards Rimaru. And he blinked for a second as he was, and the second he did, he bumped into Loki. And Loki was sporting his black armor, and his face was the color of the ocean, but at night it had a certain powdery snow tint to it. And he was putting his long black hair loose. He said in a low voice, haven't you causing us problems for Rimaru? I'm sorry, said Amis sheepishly. Loki reached into his cape and he brought out a plate and he smashed the plate, and then he said to Amis, apologize to this plate. I am sorry, plate, said Amis. And then Loki was like, ugh. Faced with this open hostility, Amis started to retreat to a safe spot, and Rimaru then started making chicken sounds, and Amis' ears turned red, and then Loki and Rimaru started laughing at the fellow. What are you, stupid or something? What's the point of getting so many augmentations if you haven't fixed the main thing that is wrong with you, said Rimaru, chuckling. So like he augmented himself a lot, but he's still a coward. And tell me what is wrong with me, asked Amis, passing his hand over his hair in his aspiration. I don't like your haircut, said Loki. And you don't bathe anymore, said Rimaru. You moan all the time, and even your own twin cannot put up with you, said Loki. I think you need antidepressants to deal with your chemical imbalance, said Rimaru. And those do-it-yourself almond bars are giving you lead poisoning, said Loki. You resist, but you don't understand them, said Rimaru. Nothing is ever good enough for you, joined Sativa. You as well, said Amis, getting exasperated. You never finish anything you start, said Loki. That stupid book you brought is ruining my city, said Brutus. You never appreciate anything that anyone does for you, said Rimaru, and that is the main reason why I never gave you the time of day. You are toxic, and everything you touch gets poisoned. Either change that attitude of yours or drop dead or something. I don't care. You never did forgive me for warping your beloved vampire, said Ami sadly. That was a long time ago, and it wasn't your fault, and I forgave you, and I forgot you. And as that saying goes, forgive and forget, and what I can't forgive is you tainting me with your filth. I was always so careful not to make contact with anyone, and then you had gone and steal a kiss, and when I was having the most fun, and you ruined my fun that day, and now look at me, said Rimaru with her hair growing. Rimaru started pulling at her hair, saying, no matter how many times I remove it, no matter how many times I change it, I have this sickening, twisted black hair of yours, and why don't you just go back to hell where you belong? Look it better, Rimaru said, and then say, just relax, Rimaru, sing a little. So Rimaru started singing in order to calm down her nerves, and seeing Amit looking so dejected, looking so pity for him, and he said, don't take it so seriously. Rimaru is just blaming you for her own cowardice and her own problems. You two are remarkably similar in the way you cope with tedium and the lack of purpose and direction. And like her, you need to find a way to shut out all of those negative thoughts that are poisoning the well of your happiness. Life is not about pursuing happiness, but about realizing that the joy has been inside of you all along. So smile and live a little for your own sake. And with these words of wisdom, Amis went back to his lab. And as before, he started to miss his own human lips, and he appeared before him and offered to turn him back to normal. And since it was tradition for Amis not to complete anything, Amis agreed to return to what he was before. So like he was started augmenting his body, but then he didn't complete the augmentation and be like, now I just want to go back to the way I was. And then now he'd be like, yeah, I can change you back, relax, dude. But it's going to be painful. And he healed him, and Amis immediately regretted his cessation, and for long hours the palace folks heard hellish screams from Amis's lab. And he could have healed Amis without causing him pain, but he chose not to. And as for Rimaru, she ended her appreciation day by doing a concert for the little children at the temple, and the concert was just the music she liked, and she danced as well a little. And the kids liked it because they had no other frame of reference, and as for the priests, they found her rapping really annoying, and they were relieved when it only lasted for like 10 minutes, and Rimaru liked rapping, but not for prolonged periods of time, and then she did jazz, and when she got tired of singing and jumping and jazzing, she sat at a sax, and together with Loki's trumpet, they ended the rest of the night depressing folks or making them fall asleep with their music, so playing depressing blues. Mendes, who was taking in her sleep, asked Sativa, what are you doing here? It seems like a good excuse as any to stretch one's feet, said Sativa. And why are you not married or something? It's the fashion in this world, asked Mindy. Not my thing, said Sativa. How can it be not your thing if you never tried it, guessed Mindy. It was my thing a long time ago, and I should never speak of it again, said Sativa. It is common among us ancients to get bored of everything that life has to offer, said Mindy. It is not so much boredom as I do not want to deal with loss anymore, and if it has some type of impermanence to it, I refuse to grow attached to it, said Sativa. And yet here you are, said Mindy, pointing to Rimaru. Sativa sighed, and he went to the forest to meditate on what he wanted to do with his time, and he pondered a bit and returned into his sleep. At least there he did not have to deal with impermanence, and everything would be a long stream of randomness. And Lorica poked Sativa in the forehead, and she said, don't you find doing nothing boring? Here. And Lorica handed Sativa a ball in a cup toy, and she said, the kids find this toy amusing. And Sativa looked at the toy, and it triggered a bad flashback, and his eyes watered, and he said, get that thing out of my sight.
Why?
It's a children's toy.
No, why the flashback?
Why? It triggered a bad flashback.
Yeah, but why?
Well, because he reminded him, he was talking about loss and impermanence, and a children's toy reminded him of loss and impermanence, so it's pretty obvious implied that he lost a child or something, you know?
Oh,
that's why he doesn't want to like get married or get attached to anything that's impermanent. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
time, bro?
9 minutes.
I had lost many things in my time, but I never lost... Oh, look, a shooting star, said Lorica, pointing to the night sky. They tell me that stars are just a projection, said Sativa, frowning. They say many stupid things that they do not understand, and it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it is enjoyed. And are you not having fun sulking all the time, and try to do something grandiose? And you could try to be a superhero. Brutus and I did that a while back in a different town, and it was quite amusing, said Lorica. I will think about it, said Sativa, turning into grass to end the conversation. As grass, the trees and the other plants started jabbering about nonsense, and the temple plants were as bored and starving for entertainment as the humans, and despite being blind, the plants enjoyed good music, and their scheduled growth double thanks to soft music. The following morning came, and with the Rimaru-looking Sativa started making their way towards the train station, and before getting out, they saw Amis running towards them, and Apega the automaton train conductor smiled when he saw Amis. At least he made Rimaru feel like he was smiling, and with those old robots, they were not designed to smile. And now Mr. Winde said, "Wait for me, I want to go home." "Fine by me, I want to go home as well," said Rimaru. "I don't see why you complain so much about a place you rarely experience," said Loki more to himself. He then said to Rimaru, "I wish I could go home as well." And the weary traveler sat inside the wagon, and Apega did not return to Aragon right away. Instead, he continued on his planned route, and first he visited Verageddon. And a lot of well-dressed, strong-looking folks entered the train, and one of the fellows recognized Amis, and he said, "Hey, long time no see." "Hey, you," said Amis, not recognizing the fellow. "It has been 5 years, and I thought you said you were going to see your brother for a bit and then return to school," said the fellow dressed like a nobleman. "I lied," said Amis, "and for some reason I just did not see the point in continuing to do magic." "Point? What, are you stupid?" asked the gentleman. "There is no point to any type of career. It is just a means to an end, the way I put food on the table, that's all. That's the problem with you fruitcake nobles, who never experience true hardship. Everything has to have a point, and you should try to live a little." Amis did not say anything, but Rimaru took the man's words very seriously, and from Veraguero the train went to Sibila, and the dragons and the riders seemed cheaper than usual, and they were all mutually relieved not to have to fight in pointless wars that did not benefit them in the least. And without having to prepare for war, the humans and the dragons were rediscovering their long-forgotten hobbies. And one of the dragons was knitting, and a different fellow was making terrible drawings, and a different dragon was brainstorming new food recipe. And there was even an old gentleman carrying a small succulent plant. Amis could not help but look at the succulent, and the old man smiling said, "She gets lonely if I'm not around." And Amis gave a queer look, and Sativa then said to Amis, "He's right. Plants like soothing human voices, especially those that for generations were raised by humans, and like crops and ornamental plants." Time?
5 minutes, 30 seconds.
After departing from Sibira, the train entered society, and Amis opened his eyes wide when he saw his mother Hilda entering the train, and he said, "Mother." "Oh, hi, Amis. How's the magic thing going, and are you ever going to graduate?" asked Hilda. "I left school, remember?" said Amis. "Oh, right. I may have mentioned something like that the last time I spoke to him," said Hilda. "How is Barbara holding up?" asked Amis. "She's fine. Great even, now that they're about to have their second child." And Amelius finally took the plunge, and I thought I was never going to have grandchildren, said Hilda, laughing. And she added, looking serious, "And you, are you ever going to marry or something? I hate to see you moving away all of your best years of your life." "I'm sorry," said Amis. Hilda sighed, and she said, "I suppose there are some things that cannot be helped." "That is our line," said Loki. "Oh, it's you people," said Hilda, smiling, and she added, Can you give something to Amis so that he can be happy again? He was such a darling when he was wee small before he started taking things way too seriously." "Amis has a lot of demons to deal with," said Loki. "As do we all," said Rimaru. "As long as you're making the effort to deal with them," said Hilda, kissing the forehead of her son. And the train finally stopped at Aragon, and Hilda exited the train station along with her son and all of the others, and Rimaru made her way to his home to see how her plants were doing, and back in the lab there was a new creature manifesting. And Amis found it interesting that he had returned to Aragon the same day as elections, and folks were going all over the street with propaganda for the next governor of Aragon. And after wandering about for so long, Ami had come to realize that he could not that he could not get away from his own shadow. At least now he was aware that there was a problem. And together with his mother, Amis went to see Amelius, and both were surprised to see that he was no longer the Lazarite. And Hilda asked, "When did this happen?" "Someone else took the burden," explained Amelius. "So you could have passed on your blue ears to someone else all this time. Why did you not do so, son? You could have saved yourself a lot of trouble," asked Hilda. "Yes, I could have, but it was a light burden that only I was able to carry, till the name of the goddess became a bit better known. Now any fellow who would preach her name had the potential to become Lazarus," explained Amelius, and he added, "As for me, I'm tired of all that nonsense." Amelius then showed his firstborn son to his brother Amis and his mother, and the child was the most charming little giggly creature there ever was. And Amelius, who despised dogs, had recently gotten a little puppy for the kid, and the child was called Amor, and had the loveliest natural curves and expressive black eyes. And when Amis saw his nephew, the kid was playing with a puppy, and Amor was running over the house dragging a towel behind him, and the puppy was biting the towel. And this family scene made him remember many things he had forgotten. And he remembered cradling his youngest brother in his arm, and many other bonding experiences in his family. And in his effort to succeed, he had lost something particularly important along the way. So he had gotten too caught up with his ambition, and then he stopped appreciating the love and stuff he got from his family because he was too caught up with the whole, "I gotta be somebody." No, you just gotta be happy. Okay, we're done?
No, 2 minutes. I swear, 2 minutes.
Meanwhile, Rimaru was showing Loki her little lab, and she told him how she had gotten the place and her encounter with the weirdo that had stolen her lawn, and Loki said, "That is a very trippy story, sis." And Rimaru added, spraying an empty cage. "Very odd indeed. Well, at least the habitat doesn't look too neglected, and then what needs a bit more water, and there you go." As soon as he got at the proper moisture level, a strange amorphous goo started manifested on top of the leaves. And Loki said, "Most of these creatures are a bit odd, like monkey-kings and pure creatures." "Yet there is certainly not a shortage of weird creatures, both big and small, in this world," agreed Rimaru. "And as there rightly should be," said Loki. "And do you think the old world was this diverse?" asked Rimaru, getting into that type of mood. "I don't know, and I was never one to ponder about the past, and what does it really matter, really? Everything is gone." "Yes, but there is still spectrochronometry," said Rimaru. "Time, bro?"
1 minute.
"Alright, and what do you want to bring back?" asked Loki. "I don't know, maybe the Viking. And I hear that they were quite fertile. Didn't they all die out around 2021, asked Loki. The seaman started jabbering about extinct animals, and Loki then said, "Look there." Alright, so we're gonna end this chapter here, and next week we'll see, but well, bye bye and God bless. We're almost done.